Hello. This is all a bit mad, as is my hair. I thought I'd start a video channel for all my RC stuff, and this is the first go. Um, I'm going to try not to say "Hey guys" or "Let's jump into it," because yeah. So anyway, to begin with, we're going to have a go at putting a hole for a transponder into my new Fat Fox body for my TTO1E truck, because I'm going racing with it tonight, and without a hole in the body for the transponder it is not going to work. So let's have a closer look at what we have to begin with. Um, so here on my workbench, this is the new body I've made for the TTO1E, and this is the chassis here. Now we can get a closer look at what we need to do. This loose thing here is the infrared transponder of the type they use up at Bristol. And in my old body, which was this here, the big man TTO01E, let's see if we can get it in here. Big cumbersome thing it is. There was just here, as you can see, a nice little window, and if I put the transponder on top of the servo here, then it worked rather nicely. So let's take a closer look at that one. Okay, so if we look in here, here's your transponder, and it used to fit very nicely just there. But unfortunately, if we take a look at the Fat Fox body, in comparison with it, if we line it up roughly, the servo is going to be right underneath the cab. So unfortunately, we can't do this. Okay, let's get rid of my ugly mug for just a minute. Okay. So yeah, if we take a look again, what it looks like we're going to have to do is, instead of mounting it there, just over the servo, these are the front wheels, it's four-wheel drive thing, but we're going to have to mount it, I think, somewhere around about there. You can see that. Okay. So, if we go back to the workbench, okay, let's take that off for a second. Okay. I think the best thing to do is mount it, and let's see if we can get a hole to match it. Now I have some of these bits here that came with the actual kit itself, and these body clips will come in handy a bit later because we've still got to actually seat the body on these here. But if we take out these little sticky pad things, I think one of them should do. In fact, it may even need to be cut down a little bit. So if we get a scalpel, which I was sure I'd put aside for myself, here we have. Okay. Slice through there. And a slice through here. Yeah, that fits nicely on the bottom now. Okay. So if we take the bottom part of it off there. Now I don't know how well you can see that, but that little white gadoobery there is the actual LED. So that's the important bit, and I want it as flat on that as I can. Okay, so the only thing I'm going to have to remember is when I connect this battery pack up, let's get one of the packs here. And when I connect that up and then put the body on the top, I'm going to have to be very careful to not obstruct the transponder like that. It's going to have to sit here. I may do something a bit more professional in time, like mounting that physically on there, actually attaching it so that it stays in place. But we'll that's another video, I think. So let's turn that off. Take the battery pack out. Put the body clip back in so I can find it again later. Okay, so if I now put the body back on, which is proving to be a lot easier said than done. There is a knack to this, I'm sure, but I haven't found what it is yet. There we go. Okay, so that roughly is where the body, well, not roughly, quite exactly, that is where the body's going to go. So, let's see where we've got to actually cut. Now, if I take a look roughly underneath, how much can we actually see under there? About where? Let's put some light on the matter. Where it's actually going to sit. Now, to my eyes, that looks very much like, well, we can't see it there. It's going to sit underneath that sort of panel in the center, around about there where my thumb is. So let's take one last little peek before we go mental. Yeah, that's actually quite a bit of the way forward, more than I thought. Okay, so let's go and have a little bit of a cut. Okay. There's nothing for it but to eyeball it. I hope you get a reasonable window over your transponder and don't have to go back and enlarge it too much afterwards. It would also be nice if I could get these lines fairly straight. Which isn't the case with the first one I made. It all went a bit bendy, but that'll become clear when I punch this thing out. I think I need it a little bit wider. Okay. Oh, that's not as nice as I'd like it to be, but okay. And going over it again isn't as easy as it sounds. So, okay. Next thing to do is cut right right into the plastic. So I can make two little flappy things. God, this Lexan is tough. I will give it that. Now I'm being a bit ham-fisted here. But this is the bit I'm cutting away. Wow. Even a scalpel doesn't get through it. There we go. And a bit the other sort of a cutting motion, if I can. Now, while I'm doing that, can any of you figure out why a Van Halen fan would put that logo on the top of his cab? Answers on a postcard, please. Okay. So we're through one part of it. You have to be a little bit more careful here. He says being patently not careful. So, just now I'm hoping that that is enough to actually bend inwards. Yeah, there we go. So there's one part of the hole. Now what I will do is I will tidy that up with a Dremel so it is square and looks deliberate as a part to the amateurish hacking with a scalpel that I'm doing right now. There we go. So there we have our hole. And as I say, if it isn't perfectly square, I'll just tidy the edges round with the Dremel to square it up and make it look as though I meant to do it later. But the main thing is to get the chassis back and see whether it actually exposes this little baby as I intended. So let's put the thingy back on. The body. I really am going to have to find a quicker way of doing this. Do you know that might work? As you can not see until I get used to what this camera does. There we go. The hole exposes my transponder nicely. And I am racing. Now the other thing I wanted to do is just seat the body so that there's enough suspension travel. As you can see there, the wheel binds against the body a little bit. So if I just lift it just a touch, I have a little marker thing here. That just tells me where the body is, and it's not on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so if I take these off, the body pins underneath should actually only need to come up one by the look of it. And the same for the body pins here. And it's now become apparent another mistake I made when I was putting the body together, but not to worry. Okay. Let's try them there. Let's see how that goes on there. Okay. I think the front could do with being just a little bit lower. Okay, let's try that. I'm getting irritated now. Now that, to me, looks spot on. So if I put 2 clips in either side here, one in there, one in there. Tell me what you think. Okay, so if I go, does that look around about right? Same if I twist it round. Now the next thing to do will be these here, these body mounts will need to disappear. One thing that won't be disappearing is the Van Halen 1984 album cover, or the Van Halen styling, or the little name tag on there. That will not be going anywhere. So, chuffed with that. Ready. I should fire it up, but I think I'm going to be okay. I'll hopefully get a bit more video for you tonight. Thanks very much for watching. See you soon.